You were the popular kid, the one who could walk into any room and make it come alive. Everyone knew your name, everyone laughed at your jokes, everyone wanted to be around you. Back then, life felt full of faces, noise, plans, and endless connection. You had that glow, that energy, that magnetic pull. You were somebody. But somewhere between those crowded hallways and your quiet nights now, something changed. You look around and no one's really there. The group chats are dead. The people who once said, "We'll always stay in touch," disappeared without a trace. You scroll through your old photos and realize you haven't felt that alive in years. So what happened? How did the kid who once had everyone end up feeling like he has no one? The truth is, popularity is built on noise, not connection. It's a temporary high that feels like belonging, but isn't. It's the illusion of closeness built on convenience, not depth. In school, friendship isn't tested, it's proximity. You shared the same classes, the same lunch tables, the same gossip. You didn't have to work for connection. It was just there. You were surrounded by people every single day. But it wasn't friendship, it was environment. And the moment that environment changed, so did everything else. The crowd vanished, the spotlight faded, and suddenly there was no stage left to perform on. That's the part no one tells you. When your sense of worth comes from attention, silence feels like death. You start to wonder if you ever really mattered to anyone, or if they only cared about the version of you that kept them entertained. You see, being the popular kid trains you in a dangerous habit, the habit of being liked. You learn to read the room, to say what people want to hear, to be the center of energy. You become addicted to approval, and that's what slowly kills you later. Because when everyone likes you, no one really knows you. You spent so much time being who they wanted, you forgot who you were without them. That's why you feel lonely now. Not because people left, but because you left yourself a long time ago. When you were popular, your entire identity was external. You existed through their eyes. The compliments, the laughter, the attention, that was your reflection. But when the mirror disappeared, you had nothing left to see. And here's the darkest truth. The popular kid never learned how to be alone. You always had somewhere to go, someone to text, something to do. You never had to sit with your thoughts, your silence, your emptiness. And when adulthood came, you were suddenly forced to face the one person you never knew how to deal with, yourself. That's the withdrawal. That's the quiet ache you can't explain. You miss being seen, but you're terrified of being truly known. Because deep down, you know the truth. The friendships weren't built on depth, they were built on convenience. You were surrounded by people, but you weren't connected to them. They loved your energy, your presence, your vibe, but not your pain, not your silence, not the parts of you that didn't perform. And that's why popularity fades faster than you can imagine, because it's built on exchange, not understanding, on performance, not authenticity. But here's where it gets interesting. Loneliness isn't your punishment. It's your wake-up call. It's life pulling you back from the noise so you can finally hear your own voice. The loneliness you feel isn't emptiness, it's detox. You're withdrawing from years of fake validation. You're learning how to exist without applause. And yes, it hurts like hell. Because when you strip away all the external noise, you realize how much of your identity was borrowed. How much of your self-worth came from people who didn't even stay. But that realization, that brutal, soul-crushing clarity, is the beginning of freedom. The popular kid had friends. The man you're becoming needs truth. You don't need to be liked anymore. You need to be known. You don't need crowds. You need character. You don't need noise. You need peace. Popularity taught you how to be seen. Loneliness will teach you how to see yourself. Because the people who can sit alone without fear, those are the ones who are truly powerful. They don't chase validation. They radiate clarity. They don't perform. They simply are. When you stop trying to impress the world, you finally start to build something real inside you. The kind of presence that doesn't need followers, because it commands respect without words. So, if you've been wondering why you feel so disconnected, even though you used to be the life of every room, it's because the room was never real. It was just a stage. And now, life is asking you to step off it. You were the popular kid. But popularity is just noise. What you need now is silence, because silence is where truth lives. And the moment you make peace with that silence, you'll realize something. You were never lonely. You were just finally alone with the only person who ever mattered, you. If you've ever seen a popular kid who struggles as an adult, comment your story below. Someone out there probably needs to read it right now.